Hey people, I don't remember exactly where I was in that last how-to video, but I've been real busy. I finished up the brick and the window man come and set the windows and doors. I finished cutting her in around the door, and the new door fit the frame that I had set behind the brick. The window man kind of skimped. He was afraid of the bill that might have run up if he had bid insulated glass, and so he went with a cheaper set of windows and doors. So the owner not real happy about it, and the rest of the glass come in. We got this glass replaced. So I went inside and I finished cutting out the inside around the window so they would have some light inside there and have some use of their new windows. I got a machine that cuts this metal. It's called a nibbler. It's real difficult to do without it. This is a 16 gauge steel stud. They're pretty heavy duty. So I've been redoing all his electrical. Had to move a lot of electrical for the walls and reframing all this to fit the new windows and doors. And I put some temporary around after I cut all this out. And I moved his electrical over out of the hole. So I just set some temporary to keep the dust out of the office while I was doing the addition. I set plenty of insulation back behind the wall to keep the noise and the cold out. But the new windows and doors, it give it a whole new front to this building compared to what it was existing. It was a pretty ugly building. It looked like a hawk shop over there. But this is where the new awning and the doors went in. And the window sits here and here. So as I was replacing doors, I had to rip out some baseboard and ran into some black mold. It's not a big problem with metal studs. It's only in the sheetrock. But you know, what you see on the front, it'll usually run up, 2 foot on the back of the wall if you see it on the front of the wall somewhere. And, the roots run into the rock. So it's real hard. You have to scrub it out with ammonia. And you have to get both sides of it. So best chances are you have to rip, the bottom 4 foot of the sheetrock out to get rid of it. And as I was adding this other door in, I seen there was an old air conditioning frame up where the door was cut in. When I pulled it down, they left me a little present and some old Bud Light cans and an antique camel pack. So I got the wall framed in, and this is all 18 gauge metal studs, and they're outrageous price right now. And you just get them for $3 a stud, 18 gauge. And they want $3 a foot right now. And I got them down to $1 a foot. And so I got these new offices framed in with the walls. And then I went to pick up some 2x6s, metal 2x6s, to run the ceiling joists. And they were just outrageous price. I think I give $3.80 a foot for the 16 gauge. And $3 a foot for the 18 gauge. And I went and picked him out some glass doors, and that's code now. You got to have glass on an office door, and it keeps somebody from running a scam on you. If somebody gets hit with the door in your office, you got to pay for it. So, the new code is you got to have glass in your door. And so I was putting a window in where he could see out of his office, and this is a 2x8 metal 2x8 I had used for this header because it's holding all of the ceiling joists. And I give $100 about for these two 10-foot 2x8s in order to create this beam for this header. And I went ahead and stuffed the header with insulation when I built it, because it's a big area and it'll quiet things down. And he wanted all his outlets, he wanted 4 plugs. And so it's easier to set your boxes up before you install them, to set all your knuckles in your boxes. And I'm not going to give you a play-by-play on the electrical because I'm not a licensed electrician. I just do what I know, so I don't want to give any wrong information. But this is the doors we end up going with, the big glass panels you can see in the office. And so they change the code on this electrical all the time. And so you can get by with, whatever was existing, what was the code when they did it. But anything new you put in, you have to keep to the new code. So when I framed up the new part, I double insulate. I use this metal building insulation I put behind, and I use this bat insulation to fill the stud walls. And like I say, all is electric. They use a lot of electric in that office, so I put these 4 boxes all throughout, and use this metal case wire throughout because it's a paint shop, and he really didn't want anything flammable, so everything is metal studs, and you can't put Romex in there. It'll get cut in these metal studs. And so everything's double insulated because he wants to keep it quiet. So after I've run that metal building insulation between the crawl space, I added another bat in the stud space. And I haven't been able to get anybody to do anything. Anybody needs a job, come down to South Mississippi, and everybody's hiring. So I end up hanging all the sheetrock and finishing it myself. I've done it a couple of times. It's not my favorite thing to do. But mainly I just want to get this spot finished where I was adding this wall later. Because we may be moving this wall out and making 3 offices out of this. So I wanted to get it finished underneath where the wall was going in, so it wouldn't be difficult if he had moved it later. And so I finished it behind this wall before this wall went in. And so later, if he wants to put 3 offices in here, I set this window at the same height as this door header, so it'd be easy to remove the window and set a door in here, and just move this wall down and add a wall in order to give him 3 offices instead of 2. So it's an auto dealership, and if somebody's complaining about something they bought, he doesn't want the people in the next office where he's trying to sell a car to listen in on that. So I insulated this wall between the offices good. And then today I run this metal corner bead around where the windows are going and all the corners, and went to doing all the finishing before the paint. And so I'm going to finish and paint these 2 offices before I cut this out for this last window. I'm going to try to get get them moved, all their computers moved into the offices before I cut this out and refinish the entrance. But times are strange right now. It's hard to bid anything. The materials are fluctuating so much, so it's a cost plus job. I keep up with the hours and everything, this purchase for his job, and plus just add 15% on it. And so I try to be honest with him and give him as much information I can as on the prices. And in turn, he calls me back and trusts me, he calls me back to do all his work. And so I'm trying to get this finished up and get back to my reading, what I like to do. But it's hard to find help, so I'm going to end up having to paint and everything else, the air condition, everything else that has to be done. So I'll get y'all some finished pictures of when I get everything painted and get the offices moved around. And then I'll get back to my reading and what I like to do best.
Don't forget, hooty hoot, I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.